All right, let's look at the marketing automation component. This is a really powerful tool that you can use in your school for new prospects, for new students, for appointment reminders, for a lot of different reasons. And it's really one of the ways that Atlas is going to be working for you 24/7, even while you're sleeping, to help make you more money and to drive new traffic into your school and to keep your students longer. So on the left navigation over here, under Marketing Automation, we'll click that. This Marketing Automation engine, I've got a bunch of test stuff in here. So let's. This is your campaign list. A campaign is a series or a sequence of communication that goes to a given group of students, a given group of contacts. So either students or prospects or whatever the case might be. So let's just get started and start building a campaign. Over here you have this big plus symbol, add a campaign. I'm going to click add a campaign. Now you're given the types of campaigns that you have available to you, and we'll be expanding this pretty dramatically as time goes on. But for today, let's make it really simple. Let's first start out with a new prospect campaign just to make it easy. Let's say a new prospect opts in on your website, and you want them to get a sequence of communication after they've opted in. Or maybe you met someone at a carnival or a festival or a movie theater or something like that. You've put them in the database, and now you want them to get communication. You want them to get, sales material, testimonials, lead conversion communication to that prospect. So I'm going to go ahead and click New Prospect. I can give my campaign a name. So let's say, for example, I want this to go to all of the people who are interested in let's say my kickboxing program, just as an example. So I'm going to call this Kickboxing Lead Sequence 1, just for today's purposes. So now I'm going to click Create Campaign, and here you see I now have my Kickboxing Lead Sequence 1. So now I can click that and drill into the sequence. This is my marketing automation engine. This sort of looks like a Rolodex would look, and it's that user interface image, that design is deliberate. If you think about how a Rolodex works, remember, when calendars were on paper and people had a flip calendar, like a Rolodex calendar or like address cards, you would spin the Rolodex to get to the day that you wanted, and you'd see your appointments. Or you could spin to the contact that you were looking for, and you could find the contact information. Well, this is very much the same. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up what I want to happen on day 0. Now, day 0 means immediately. That means as soon as somebody becomes a prospect, as soon as they fill the form out, as soon as I enter them into the system, whatever the case is, I want this to immediately happen. So I'm going to click down here at the bottom where it says Add Event. And now it says, okay, new event on day 0 is this. The type is either going to be an email or an SMS text message. Now, over time, we're going to be adding voice broadcasting. We're going to be adding direct mail. We're going to be adding tasks for staff. There are a lot of feature enhancements that we're going to be adding to the marketing automation engine. But right now, this is a very early version. So right now, you have email and SMS available to you. So let's say I want to send an email. So I'm just going to click Email and then click Add an Event. Again, this is an instant email. This is going to happen right away when somebody goes into the system. You see I have a subject line right here. As I mouse over these areas, you see that they're sort of outlined by a dotted line that lets you know that there's something you can do there. So I'm going to add a subject line. So let's say I want to say, hi, the prospect's first name, right? So this little star item are your merge fields, and inside this list you'll find fields that are available to you from the database that you can merge into the letter. So let's just say I want to say hi first name. Hi John, good to meet you! Exclamation point. Then I can click in this email area. You see the edit message little hover, so I can click that and I'll be taken to my HTML email editor. So again, I want to type my email. So, hi, John. Here's my little star again. So I'm going to use that hi first name. Hi first name. Thanks. It was nice. Let's use this for all the prospects that go into kickboxing. Thanks for requesting more information about our kickboxing program. Kickboxing is not only a great way to get fit and stay fit, but also a great, program, but also an amazing way to build your confidence and release all the stress of a hard day. Something like that. Sincerely, my name, my information, whatever it might be. Now, just a quick tour around the HTML email editor. You can bold things. So I can, let's see here. Let's see, build your confidence. And I don't know how to spell. Build your confidence. Click there. So I can bold that. I can italicize. I can use, numbering and bullets, and I can left justify, center justify, right justify, or justify. I can create a link. So for example, check out this video. And I can make this entire thing a link. So I can take them to google.com or whatever, my school's website or whatever the case might be. I can also open that target in a new frame. I can have it pop up. In most cases, I like to open that in a new window personally. Check out this video. I can add an image. So I can use basically my rich email HTML commands. I can add an image here. I can upload an image from my machine. Let's say that one. So there's my image. I also have advanced. I can use alt text. I can change the size of the image, things like that. So let's just add him for now. Let's see, what else do I want to add here? I can add a YouTube video if I like. You can paste in your YouTube embed code here, or the link or the URL. We have some tools that you can use: autoplay and privacy enhanced mode, etc., etc. You can also start at a given minute or second mark. I also have tools where I can use standard H1 through H6 tags plus formatted address and div. So let's say I wanted you are awesome, and I wanted that to be like a big font. I can use an H2, let's say, right? So I can use those paragraph settings. Obviously, my merge fields, I have a bunch of merge fields available to me. You'll have even more than this by the time you get the application, likely. But lots of cool fields that'll be available to me in the database. I can add an attachment. If I want to attach a file or a picture or whatever that might be, I can upload an attachment from my machine. I can also use a template. Now we have all sorts of different templates. We have some templates that are just design templates, and we also have pre-built content templates. So let's say this back to school template, for example. I could use this and my message I'll put my message in the middle here. You'd want to select the template you want to use before you add content, but for right now you get the idea. So these templates are pretty cool, and we're actually going to be providing more and more templates over time. In fact, as part of your monthly membership, part of the monthly membership materials that you'll be receiving are very frequent updates in these templates. So let's not use a template for now. And then I can save it and I can close it. So again, now here's my image. There's one final step I want to do here. This is the Activate Event button. You want to click that. Now, the reason that exists is you have to be very careful as you're building out your sequence. Since this email says send instantly when a new prospect is created, as soon as a new prospect is created for your kickboxing program, they're going to get that email. So you want to make sure that you're sensitive to that. And if you're just building this and you want to go back later and adjust it, or you want to edit it or whatever, you could leave it just as a draft the way it is now, or you can make it active and then it's going to be live as soon as you run with that. So make sure that you hit that active button. So let's say, for example, now I've created my email, very cool. Now let's say I also want to text message that person as soon as they become a prospect for my kickboxing program. So again, I'm going to add another event. I'm still on day 0, so I'm going to add another event, and this time I'm going to add an SMS, text message. So click add a message, and now I have my little text message editor. Hi, and I can use my merge fields just like I did before. Hi, first name. Check out this amazing video about the kickboxing program. And then I could put in the, the link. You get the idea. / my video, and then there I go. Now, again, I have to make this event active if I want it to be active right away. So let's pause here for a second. So now I've got that first day set up, day 0. I have an email that goes out instantly, immediately, and I have an SMS that goes out immediately. Well, what about future days? Day 2, day 5, day 20, day 1 million, right? Whatever you want. Okay, so let's go over to day 1, let's say. And I can just use these little arrows, these up and down arrows, to click over to day 1, or maybe day 2, let's say. Now on day 2, maybe I want another email. So I'm going to click add an event, click email. Now this email, I want to send it at, let's say, 2 o'clock my time. Click add an event, put in my subject line. Hey John, did you see that video yet? And then again, edit message, and I can put in my message content here, just as I did before. Again, I still have the same commands. I can use all these formatting tools that you might like to use. Very cool. Let's use a template this time. This time let's use the welcome bamboo template. That's cool. I'll use that one. Okay, good enough, right? And then again, I can still put in all my content in there, and it just gives me a nice little HTML template wrapper here that I can use for my content. Right? You get the idea. Then hit save, and again, close it. Again, I have to make that event active so that it will actually send out on day 2 at 2 o'clock. I don't want to do that in my test application. Next, let's say another text message, same thing. And again, I can select the time, let's say 2:30. And this one I want to say, hey, John, I just sent you an email about this cool video. And then I can put in that video here again. And then again, make the event active. Again, I'm not going to do that in my test application, but make the event active, hit save, make the event active, and you're good to go. Now here you can kind of toggle back and forth between your email and your text message. Good. Now, does that make sense? So now, again, I can do the same thing on day, let's say 6. Let's say day 6, I want them to get another one. Email, let's say at, I don't know, 7 p.m. for some reason, 7:30. Again, pop in my content, save it, put in my subject line, make the event active, and there's my email. Let's say day, I don't know, 16, I just want a text message. Same procedure, right? This is very easy, very cool, very powerful for you to be able to keep up with and follow up automatically with your prospects. Now, I want to point out a couple of things that you may not have noticed, but are very cool and useful tools. If you look down here at the timeline down below, this timeline gives you sort of a top-down look at the sequence, the steps that you have set up. You see how all these lines down here are gray, right? But you see that this line over here on the 16th is blue, and this line on the 6th is blue, and on the 3rd is blue, or I guess day 2, and day 0 are blue. That obviously those are days that I have steps set up, right? So it's kind of giving you an indication of where your steps are. And again, as you can see, if I hover over the timeline, you see I kind of get this little preview window, right? So if I hover over day 16, oh, look, I have an SMS at 3:30. So I can click that day. Hang on. Oh, I'm on day 16. That's why it's not moving. Let's go to day 6. So I can click the line on day 6, and it automatically takes me over to day 6 where my email is, and I can go check that email. Or I can click on day 2, and it automatically brings me to day 2 where I've got these steps set up, and I can look at those steps. Or again, day 0. Okay? So if you look down here at the timeline, you'll see that you can quickly scroll, let's say, to day 45. So this is 45 days after that event, after that person has become a prospect in my kickboxing program. I can add a step there, obviously, right? I can add as many steps as I like. Now, if you look at the timeline, we can go all the way out to day, 100. There's a big arrow here that goes out 50 days at a time. Day 100, day 150, 200, 250, 300, 850, 1150, right? So I can go like 1150 days into the future for all of my prospects, and that's roughly 4 years, right? So our expectation is that 4 years is probably a pretty good cycle, and then we actually have another piece of automation that's coming in the very near future where you can loop these things. So we'll talk about that later. So now obviously at the top of the screen, I can delete this entire campaign if I want. If for some reason I just don't want this kickboxing program anymore, or I don't want this follow-up sequence anymore, I can just click delete campaign and the whole thing will go away. And then on the left here, I can go back to my campaign list where all of my other campaigns live. So that is the marketing automation function, and that is a new prospect sequence or a new prospect campaign. Let's look at some of the other campaigns that are available to you. If I click again, add a campaign, an appointment campaign is based on the appointment module inside of your Atlas application. So these are appointment reminders. This could be like for intros, etc. And for right now, that's the only one you have available is your first trial appointment. So I can create that campaign. Where did I put it? Appointment intro. Okay. So now in the intro area, what's interesting about this is for an appointment, you actually want content. You want steps to go to that person before they have their appointment. And since this is an appointment sequence, this is triggered off the actual date of their appointment in the system. So if their appointment is 4 days from now, well, you're never going to know how many days away you want those steps to be, right? You're actually going to want to know how many days before their appointment you want your steps set up, right? So if you look at the timeline, you can actually go backwards negative, right? I can go to the left. So day 0 in an appointment reminder sequence, day 0 is the day of their appointment. So it's very smart. It's thinking for you. It's doing the work for you. So now you can set your sequence up prior to day 0 being their appointment date, right? So it's very cool. So let's say, for example, negative 1, 1 day before their appointment, I might set up an email that says, see you tomorrow. Here, see you tomorrow, John. Something like that, or a text message, or whatever the case might be, right? In fact, in my preference, I would like to send them a text and an email the day of their appointment, the day before, maybe 2 days before, and maybe even 3 days before, right? So I know that they're getting reminders of that appointment. So that's how appointment reminders work as well. So they go based on the date of the appointment, which is very slick. Now here's a trial sequence. This works forward just the way the rest of our sequences do. The other prospect sequences do. So I can pick which program I want this to go to. So let's say I'm a kickboxer. Let's say I'm going to talk about Tong Sudo, my orientation program, my basic program, my trial program. Now from here, orientation trial sequence. So again, the same thing happens. This is based on the date you start a new trial agreement in the system. So when you mark your agreement as a trial agreement, that will trigger this sequence based on the program you selected, in this case, my Tong Sudo orientation program. So again, I set the steps up exactly the same way. An enrollment sequence is exactly the same, but it's based on the program that they've enrolled in. So that could be your orientation program or your kickboxing program or whatever that might be, any program that they enroll in at the school. There's also a renewal sequence and an upgrade sequence, depending on how you handle your future memberships with that student. If they renew their membership, you can start a sequence based on that renewal date. Or if they upgrade, you can start a sequence based on the upgrade date. We also have a very cool belt testing trigger, which is very cool. You can actually set this campaign to start before a belt testing date or after a belt testing. Before a belt testing eligibility or after a belt testing. And then also separate by program and by the style that they're in, and also by their rank. Once you've selected a style, you also can select by rank. So you can set up an individual sequence for every student's rank, for example. So let's say you want all of your white belts, all of your new white belts, the people who just get their white belt, maybe new gold belts. Well, you want to send them their curriculum, right? The videos on their curriculum, and you want to send them how they should be referring their friends to your school now that they've run their first rank. Congratulations on earning your gold belt, things like that. Maybe you want to make sure that you send them to your website so they can view their curriculum there. Maybe you send them to, you want to make sure that they set up an appointment for an evaluation follow-up or whatever the case might be. So this tool, this tool is very cool, and it gives you the ability to create individual sequences for each and every rank in each and every program in your school, which is very, very cool. Right? So now you have the ability to create an infinite number of these sequences and be able to really follow up with your current students very well, and of course your prospects incredibly well. So I hope that makes sense. That's the marketing automation engine, and we're really doing a lot of work on this behind the scenes. This is a very cool tool, something that we're very excited about, and something that we're using a lot in our schools, and it's something I really think you're going to get a lot of value from. So I hope that's useful for you. Thanks so much, and we'll speak soon.